Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for Direct Connection. Coming up, can a little music, a little laughter prevent heart disease? We will hear the evidence. First tonight, temperatures are falling and utility bills are going up. How can a smart consumer save on gas and electricity? Joining us tonight is Paula Carmody, People's Counsel for the State of Maryland, the consumer advocate on utility issues. Thank you for being here.
Oh, Jeff, thanks for having me back.
So I spent the last hour looking for the latest rates. I wanted to find the best information out there. And frankly, it was a little bit frustrating trying to find official information that was comprehensive, would let you find the best deal and maybe avoid some of the many pitfalls. What do you advise people to do?
Well, number one, I'll say it is hard to find information. But the second thing I'll tell you is that our agency, the Office of People's Counsel, does have information on its website at opc.maryland.gov. And we have several fact sheets that go through a lot of kind of Q&As about things to look for if you're interested in contacting energy suppliers. We also have price comparison sheets. These are updated once a month, every month. We've been doing this since May of 2007. And at least it will give you a snapshot, a guide, so to speak, as to kind of where the pricing is. But you are going to have to do the legwork, contact the companies, review the contracts and the contract terms, and really do the comparison yourself. And so this will involve work on your part as a consumer if you're interested.
Now most of this, when somebody switches from the default utility rate, whatever it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the time it's not because Paula, the consumer, decided to go look at what was out there, but somebody knocked on your door, somebody called you up or mailed you something with an offer to switch.
I'd agree with that. I mean, there are a few folks out there that are go-getters and like to do this kind of thing and are very proactive, or they're interested in renewable energy, for example, and want to support that. But the bottom line is most of the residential customers are approached either by door-to-door agents, or they get cold calls. You know, people saying, we're with so-and-so and we want to talk to you about this great deal we have. Some companies do direct mail. You might get things in the mail, and particularly around March or so, April, you're going to see it's a typical time period for it to rev up, and you might get multiple offers. But door-to-door sales and cold call telephone solicitation are the biggest things, and they also present the biggest pitfalls for our customers.
Because?
Well, door-to-door marketing, we still are seeing people knocking on the door. They're agents of companies, and they will say things like, we're from the utility, or imply they're from the utility. They will say things like, we want to, could we see your account number? Can we see your bill? We just want to check it to make sure it's right. All of this obviously is very misleading. Sometimes they will have somebody other than the customer. It might be a spouse, it might be a roommate, sign off on a contract. Again, this is in violation of the rules. Similar things happen with a lot of the phone the phone calls, and people don't understand what they're getting into. So it makes it very difficult. And I think one of the problems is the thing that you just mentioned. If somebody comes to your door or they're calling you on the phone, and in that moment, what kind of comparisons or kind of information gathering are you going to do? Well,
the big thing, before we get to the one case you've been working on, is the difference between a fixed rate and a variable rate.
Right.
And that has, over the years, caught a lot of people. And the offers I get in the mail tend to be variable rate offers. So there's like an introductory period that looks really enticing. They're going to throw in some airline miles or bonus points of some kind. But then you have a variable rate going forward. Why is that a concern?
It's a concern because in most cases there's no cap. That variable rate can vary. And the perfect example, and we still use it, is from the 2013-2014 winter. Those prices went on a variable rate contract from 10 cents up to 30, 40, 50 cents a kilowatt hour. So your unit price increased 3, 4, 5 times in a very cold winter. And the problem is, as you just described it, those contracts, fixed price for 3 months, for example, and then it changes to a variable rate. That's a teaser rate. It pulls you in, it's a cheap rate, and then it switches over to a variable rate. I call it an asymmetrical risk. Even with a fixed price, maybe you'll save a half a penny on a good rate, but you could be subject to a variable rate that's going to be double or triple what you would usually pay. So we are very concerned. There were lots of problems that came out. There were several investigations that we participated in at the Public Service Commission. And one example is this company called XOOM Energy.
XOOM with an X.
Yes.
XOOM
Energy. The Public Service Commission issued a ruling in our favor in early December. And so I would like to tell folks that are listening that the Commission did issue an order. XOOM Energy, if you were a customer in 2013, 2014, you are eligible for a refund. But you do need to get your refund request into the company by January 23rd. That is like 1 week from now. So you can go on our website, again, www.opc.maryland.gov. There is a fact sheet, and we will tell you all about what these refunds are for and who you need to send the information to. You should have received a letter or notice from XOOM Energy, but if you did not and you want information, please go on our website. It's really important.
Let's get to the phones. Anne Arundel County, this is David. David, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Hi, Jeff. How are you doing tonight? And the guests, I'm glad to talk to you. I got 3 things I can say that I think can help consumers. Number 1, stay away from these solar energy type things that come through the mail, email, knock on doors. Number 1. Number 2 would be if you're shopping for kilowatt per hour and BGE Constellation, please shop around on the internet for that, because you should be paying under 8 cents per kilowatt per hour. I would say 0.79 is what you're targeting, even if that's for a 3-month period, and reevaluate that after a season and see what happens. Number 3 would be to try to keep your thermostat in the wintertime around 67 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. In the summer, I would keep it around 72, 73 degrees Fahrenheit with a heat pump type system.
David,
which
we
probably
appreciate
more than
that.
half of people have.
Grab a sweater. Thank you very much for the
advice.
We want to get some answers on that. Thank you. First on solar, he may have been talking about somebody putting solar cells on your roof.
Right.
You were talking about
energy supply.
Who get their electricity from wind or
right. They purchase it from generating companies or facilities. Yeah, he's talking about kind of rooftop solar, and there's a lot of it going around. If somebody does have a problem or issue, they will need to go to the Office of Attorney General, not to the Public Service Commission.
Now, in terms of what electricity ought to cost, I think it's about 9 cents a minute for the standard default thing at the moment. So if somebody's getting 8, that's awfully good.
Well, a couple of things. The price will change for a utility probably twice a year, just because of the way they are required to purchase their electricity. So right now, for example, I think BGE is around 9.3 cents. It will drop down significantly in the summertime for 4 months. So one thing I do want to, let people know, if you do get offers, say in the March, April time period, please go on our website for that price comparison, because the utility prices are coming way down in the summertime. So you want to make sure you're looking at the right thing before you do anything. The third thing I want to say, his point about reducing, your thermostat or your air conditioning, energy efficiency is a really important way to you reduce your energy usage. It is a good way to reduce your bills.
Good point. Queen Anne's County, this is Dale. Dale, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Why doesn't the Public Utilities Commission make the companies that are selling the variable policies justify that rate increases when they do go variable are within reason and justified. I mean, I had one. I actually meant to cancel it right at the end of its 3-month trial period, and I missed a month, and they kicked it up from 7.9 to 13.4 cents. So there's nothing in the energy market that would justify that.
So Dale, you got a bonus to sign on with somebody, right?
Right. I got a frequent flyer miles, and I'll admit I kind of con them too, because I've got a bunch of accounts that have bills of like $8 a month, but the one I forgot to cancel has a bill of about $300. So
there you go. Thanks for the advice.
Right, and that is exactly what happens. Somebody gets a teaser rate, and then it goes up. The reason the Commission is not going to intervene is they do not regulate the price. They license these companies, but do not regulate the price offers.
Should the legislature, I mean, the legislature created this thing 17 years ago, something like that. Is there any legislation you would like to see?
Well, one of the things that we've done over the past couple of years with the Public Service Commission is to get more regulation in place, and actually, in particular, over variable rate contracts. So one of the things that came into effect on May 1, 2016 is a regulation that says that with these variable rate contracts, the companies do have to tell you how you can access the rate for the next month, and they have to give it to you 12 months before it goes, 12 days before it goes into effect. This was something that wasn't even available a couple of years ago. You had no way of finding it out. It does not go as far as we asked for. We had asked the Commission to require affirmative consent before those rates changed. They did not agree with us, so they put this intermediate regulation in place. But at least it allows people to get access to that amount, that price, ahead of time and cancel the contract.
You told me that the number of people who are using the non-default utility electric service is falling.
Yes, it has. Since about 2013, it's fallen about 5%, and this is across the board, across the state, and several of the utilities, Pepco, BG&E, for example, Delmarva Power. And I think it's a direct result of the problems that came out of that winter, that polar vortex winter. And people became very aware of how risky these contracts can be, and really the responsibility that is being put on them to do all this legwork. So the numbers have gone down. It's not just in this, in this particular state. It's in a lot of states where this has taken place. The other thing is that in states like Connecticut and the state of New York, they have undergone some investigations of this question. What really are people benefiting in the aggregate, residential customers, from all of this kind of retail supply activity? And what they're finding is that across the board, if you look at the entire group of residential customers over time, it's not doing what people said it was going to do, which is deliver lower prices over time, to residential customers.
Let's get a quick last phone call in here. Allegheny County, this is Lisa. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Hi, I had an unfortunate incident with my hot water heater, which is gas heated, and the pressure relief valve blew, and I can't tell you how many gallons of water I went through. But do I have any recourse in recouping or not having to pay both the gas and the water bill?
We'll get you an answer, Lisa. Thank you. That's going to be tough.
That's a little bit unclear, but if there was a problem with the equipment, she likely has to go back to the contractor, whether it was a water heater or some kind of heating device. If she's asking whether she can get a reduction in the gas bill or the water bill, I'm not sure who the water provider is. Not likely.
It does remind me, I've been focused on comparison shopping for electricity. You can do the same for natural gas, but fewer people do that, right?
Well, there's a significant number of folks who have signed up with the gas, but this is one of the things we have been looking at the gas prices over the last 2 or 3 years of gas suppliers versus the gas utilities. And I hate to say it, but people are paying significantly higher amounts per therm. That's the unit of gas that we use under these gas supply contracts. And as an example, in the past year, in 2016, we would see a price of 34 cents a therm, for example, say for a utility, and people might be paying 50, 60, 70 cents a therm.
Sounds like a deal. Paula Carmody with the Office of People's Counsel. You can find it online. Just search for OPC, Office of People's Counsel, Maryland. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, Jeff. Always glad to be here.
Appreciate it. Coming up tonight, understanding the impact of emotions on cardiovascular health. We'll be right back.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
My child who's watching Super Y, and it said, what letter makes the sound R? And my 2-year-old is jumping up and down going, R, R, R. I love that. I wish I knew the genius that came up with Dinosaur Train. I mean, what little boy especially doesn't like dinosaurs and trains, and to put them together in one show? My family does without a lot of stuff, but I would be horrified if we had to do without PBS.
Please support MPT.
Sometimes
the tears,
I get a good feeling, yeah.
Wanting to die. Nobody tells you
I believe
that without it,
I really do believe that
life can be appallingly boring.
Something's got a hold on me here.
You're making a mistake.
Am I? This is really very promising.
Something's got a hold on me right.
I don't think this is such a good idea.
You've been talking to my mother.
I am about to commit murder.
She always had a bit of a dark side.
Trying to scare me now. Let me give you a story.
Got him up!
He's in love.
I really wasn't. Stay away from my wife.
Any idea the pressure I am now under?
Joining us for this week's Your Health segment is Dr. Michael Miller, professor of medicine at the University of Maryland School of Medicine and director of the Center for Preventative Cardiology at the University of Maryland Medical Center. He's also author of Heal Your Heart. Doctor, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Jeff.
All doctors talk about exercise and diet and reducing stress in the context of avoiding heart disease. It sounds like, more focused on emotions.
Right, because it turns out that emotions are so important as it relates to daily life, but we also now appreciate that emotions can play a vital role on the development and progression of heart disease.
How? What's the mechanism? I understand if somebody has ribs every day for lunch and ice cream and maybe stress and no exercise and maybe smokes, how that might be bad for somebody. How does this work?
Well, it turns out, and some recent really exciting studies have shown that when you're under a lot of stress, a part of the brain known as the amygdala is activated, and that is our emotional center. But it turns out that if that center is activated on a regular basis, it could lead to the development of plaque that builds up in our arteries and can cause heart attacks and strokes.
So there was an old saying that if you have a job that doesn't have stress, you don't have a job. So, and I wonder if it's the same way in life. Like who in life, outside of a monastery perhaps, doesn't have some stress?
All right, so everybody has stress, but it's how we manage stress that really, I think, plays a key role in terms of our development of these chronic conditions. So heart disease is one, but obviously other kinds of illnesses can also be the result of long-term stress. Not acute stress, because you could have your child studying for a test, and we want we want them to be a little anxious and a little nervous because that gets things revved up. I'm talking about the day in and day out stressors that can eat away at our arteries. If you yourself feel stressed out, think what's going on inside your body. And we think there's a direct connection between our physical appearance and how our mental state is and our physical condition.
What's proven to be effective in your work in dealing with that?
So a lot of things. One is that we all need a timeout. We need time for ourselves in this 24/7 continuous barragement of activities and things we need to be in constant motion, and that turns out not to be good. So we need a dedicated time. I suggest when you go in your car in the morning that if you don't want to listen to music, don't listen to the news, but perhaps even turn the radio off for 5 to 10 minutes to collect your own thoughts. So one thing that's important is that you are in control. You feel that you're in control of your activities in your daily life.
You know, it's the hyper-connected world where everybody's got their smartphone, especially young people. They're constantly updating this social media app or that one. Is that part of the problem?
It's a big problem. We think that, I know when I was younger, I didn't have all these kinds of 24/7 activities. And but I'm concerned about our youth today because they have this constant exposure, and it really doesn't give them an ample time for themselves and to think things through in a quiet manner. So I tell my patients, especially those that are stressed, that I have a principle. I tell him to ask his secretary to keep his room, his office, closed for about 15 minutes every day so he can have quiet time and recharge. Recharge is so important.
Do you differ at all with the medical establishment on the causes of heart disease, the treatment and prevention? Where would you say you're at odds?
Well, I think it's been pretty well established that main risk factors for heart disease, smoking, high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, are really important. But stress is actually, in my opinion, somewhat in the center, because if you're stressed out, you may want to smoke, your blood pressure goes up, you don't watch your diet, so your insulin resistance goes up, and cholesterol goes up. So I think in many ways stress is the centerpiece.
Tell me about your book. Terrific reviews on Amazon. It's called Heal Your Heart, the Positive Emotions Prescription to Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease.
Right, and this is based on a lot of research, some of which we've done at Maryland, but the idea that perhaps we can counteract some of these negative stressors. And two things come to mind. One is laughter. We know that positive emotions such as laughter actually causes our blood vessels to open up and dilate.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Laughter is certainly one of the best medicines. Another good medicine is music. And the trick here is to listen to music that you enjoy, a song that you may not have heard in quite a while that brings chills down your spine, a process we call frisson. Get the frisson effect.
It's called frisson. How do you spell
frisson,
that?
F-R-I-S-S-O-N.
I'll look for it. Let's grab a phone call. Baltimore County, this is John. John, thank you for the phone call. Go ahead.
Hi. I had heart surgery 6 years ago, and I'm doing fine, except lately the EKG showed I had some shortness of breath, and I can't walk up the incline without stopping. But with the flat part, I'm all right. But I'm just wondering, is that my heart failing with that angio he said I may have to have?
John, we'll get you an answer on the air. Best of luck.
Yes, I think if you've had heart surgery, and I don't know what your heart condition was like prior to surgery, but if you're short of breath when you're walking upstairs or an incline, then that would be certainly some cause of concern that you'd want to discuss with your cardiologist and see what he may be able to do. There are really good medications that could help to unload or reduce the stress of your heart.
You've done research on centenarians, people who've lived to 100. What do they tell you?
They tell me two really good things. One is, well, the first thing is that they really led a relatively stress-free life. So they believed in a higher order was one, they had faith, and they also try to stay away from doctors. That's another key thing for centenarians. My father-in-law, who just turned 100, Paul Miller, is a perfect example of somebody who always has a smile on his face and always a lot of positive emotions.
How does somebody who aspires to that make some steps in that direction? Well, to be that person that you know it's better to walk on the sunny side, but that's just not your nature.
You could still make changes, small changes, and one is you have to learn to let things go and not build up any sort of resentment. It might seem hard on the surface, but if you start and change your attitude, as we discuss in the book, you can make simple changes. And a lot of my patients who had a heart attack 20, 25 years ago have done exceedingly well since that time because they've made small adjustments.
Stopping to smell the roses after that.
Really important.
Just a sentence or two. What's the most important takeaway from your work?
Well, I think the most important takeaway is that heart disease is largely preventable, but even if you've had risk factors for heart disease, you can turn things around with small, easy steps. Both diet, activity, and a sense of well-being.
Excellent place to leave it. Dr. Michael Miller, University of Maryland. The book is called Heal Your Heart. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thursday at this time on Your Money in Business, a new Baltimore-based whiskey company is winning awards for its special rye. We'll learn how they make it, where they make it. That's all Thursday on MPT. Now, for all of us at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching Direct Connection, and have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.